There you are. Boy, am I excited about today's show. I just hope I have the guest lined up here. It's Marky Bilson, your voice of choice for a new generation of Tri-City sports fans, and the name of the program is Tri-City Sports Now, where we own the Tri-Cities on 1420 WEMB Sports Radio. On today's program, well, of course, we'll preview, I guess I'll have to preview the NBA Finals. It's not my favorite, but yeah, I mean, it's a sports thing, obviously. But the real thing, I want to talk about the Blues. Finally, after, 52 years of existence, they win a Stanley Cup Finals game. And in very exciting fashion. Should a goal on a delayed penalty be a power play? We'll also look at the Braves. I mean, I got a lot of stories here. We got, what do we have all here, I guess? We got, what's next for the Phillies without Abdubel Herrera? What's he up to? I told you a little bit about this domestic violence situation. I hate to hear about domestic violence. You know what, though? I am happy that there's something now being done about it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I hate to hear it, but thank goodness, because you know that, and I mean, I know you can say I'm a cynical person, all that, but it happened in the old days. Heck, Marty Bergen. You've never heard of Marty Bergen. I have heard of Marty Bergen. You've never heard of Marty Bergen. You know what Marty Bergen was? He was a catcher for the 1899 Cincinnati Reds. Yeah, I told you, you didn't know who Marty Bergen was. I knew who Marty Bergen was. You want to talk about domestic violence? Probably the worst domestic violence situation ever, including O.J. Simpson. He murdered his entire family and then committed suicide. That was in 1899. Maybe, I don't know, maybe it was turned, 1900 just about and all that. I think it was, off-season of 1899. Now, no domestic violence policy in the world would have, he was an active player. Don't get me wrong. And a domestic violence policy wouldn't have prevented that horrible incident. Really on the downers this week, I guess. But the point is, it's happened for a long time. But now it seems like it's not wink wink, under the table. Here's some money to shut you up. If that occurred. People are doing things now. They're horrified by it. And although, thankfully, nothing approaching that in the case of Abdubel Herrera, I think that this needs to be discussed. And, I mentioned this when you had A.J. Johnson, Michael Williams down there at Tennessee, and they were up for rape. And when they were found not guilty, you had people come out there, A.J. Johnson's going to make the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And they spoke of his character. There was one sports talk show host down in Knoxville, part of the Swain event, he was one of the co-hosts, forgive me here, who actually talked about, what a good person this guy is because of the uniform number he took. Man just beat a rape charge, for crying out loud. What the hell difference does it make what uniform number he is wearing in terms of what his character is? They gave him the uniform number. That's what the equipment manager gave him. Well, it was in the 60s. And they only had one other number in the 50s or the 40s that would suit a linebacker. Made the team, his number was changed. I mean, how does that in any way, shape, or form discuss character? The uniform number you take in training camp. I was appalled. But that's why I talk about so many times. In that case, it's not that the media wants to be an extension of the PR department of the team. In that situation, the media is just, this is a take that is unmentionable. And I wish I knew the name of the person who said it. All I can tell you was a co-host on the Swain event. And it just, I found it, I think everybody would find that extraordinarily distasteful. Certainly all the people in my show. All right, now let's talk about happy things. What do you say? I got two great interviews today. First one I got is Jacob Hubbard. He's going to be a football player at Southern Virginia. But you know what? He played basketball at University High. And all of a sudden, I've got people, you're talking about football players that played at University High. One of them that I know is Pete Paduch, who I'm not sure he ever appeared on a game, but he was part of the Grantland Rice Bowl ETSU team. And one guy came out and said, yeah, I went to UH and I played football in the NAIA at a pretty good school, Tabor. So you had that. Now, the other thing that we will be having on, I have always wanted to interview this guy. I've always wanted to make his acquaintance. He's going to join us. He is the architect of the greatest sporting moment, in my opinion, in the history of the Tri-Cities. Ron Neckeye. 67 years ago, about 2 weeks ago, was the anniversary. He struck out 27 Welch Miners. It's an Appalachian League team of the time. For the Bristol Twins, now the Bristol Pirates. They were a Pirates farm club back then. 27 one of 3 no-hitters that the Bristol Twins threw that year. They also had a guy named Bert Bell, I believe, who threw 2 no-hitters, including a perfect game. And they were called right up to the majors. The Pirates that year were awful, 42 and 112. One of the worst teams ever. Never won 3 games in a row. Last team, I think, that did not win 3 games in a row in a season. I'll have to double-check the records. But the last time I checked several years ago, I mean, if the Orioles didn't, last year, forgive me. But if it has not happened, the 2004 Tigers, they lost 119 games. So maybe they didn't quite win 3 in a row. I don't know. But, that was really, really a bad baseball team, even though they had Hall of Famer Ralph Kiner and Hall of Famer Joe Garagiola. He's just, Ford Frick Award. But, yeah, Neckeye was called up at age of 19, and his hometown team was the Pirates. Talk about that. Who gets called up from the Appalachian League to the majors in the same year? He did. Because he struck out 27 hitters in a game. There you go. All right. So we're going to talk to those 2 people on the show. Keep tuned in. We're going to talk to you about this. I'm going to say something here. I noticed, and I was talking about Pete Paduch a little bit earlier, former Johnson City mayor. I want to remember him at a radio interview, and there's all this talk about how do we grow metropolitan areas? How do we grow the Tri-Cities? And he had a way, you get these people that say, well, we need to build, statues for downtown to make it look good. Or, we need a Major League Baseball team to come to town so people can follow it all year long. Or, whatever. We need to build a factory or something, people have a place to work. But Pete Paduch once said, how do you grow a metropolitan area? He said this. Low taxes and cheap labor. It's hard to argue with that. He's got a point. I mean, look at the Northeast. I was born in Rhode Island. I didn't spend much time there. I was moved away before I was 2, and I'm back, and it's not by, hey, I hate Rhode Island. No, it's not the case. That's not that. It's just that it's where travels took me. You all know that I identify a lot with Pittsburgh, but I lived all over Pennsylvania. Briefly, very briefly in Ohio. I know the area. That's what I'm pointing out to. But the thing is, be it the weather, but I think more, build a factory in the Northeast, you got to deal maybe with unions. Generally speaking, the labor is, a little bit more pricey, which is good for the labor if they can get the jobs. Now, we should really mention that. But also the taxes are generally high. In the Northeast, there's only one state that doesn't have an income tax. Like Tennessee doesn't. It's New Hampshire. South Dakota doesn't. I don't believe Wyoming or Alaska do. Florida and Texas don't. And they're really growing. But you'd think around here, you got so many wide open spaces. You got very little union presence. People around here will work for less. you've got low taxes, no income tax. You're now 9.5 for food. I mean, that's a little bit, but so maybe it evens out. But the area isn't really growing. It's pretty much stagnant, maybe a little bit, but I can show you Erwin, Tennessee, where our studio is located, and the projections are that it'll lose population this upcoming census next year. That's not good. Johnson City's grown a lot, sure, but a lot of it came by annexing. Kingsport, not so much. And I talk about this all the time. 1990. There are 210 television markets in the country. In 1990, Las Vegas was number 90. Tri-Cities were 92. I saw that. I said, wow, there's potential there in the Tri-Cities. I was 19 years old. I live in some place that's more cosmopolitan than, the stats say it right here. We're top 100 market. Hey, look. If you combine the Tri-Cities together, it's comparable to Las Vegas and size. Everybody in the world knows where Las Vegas is. That means that the Tri-Cities has potential. 29 years since, Las Vegas is now 39th. In terms of TV markets, the Tri-Cities, 102. Remember, there are 210 TV markets. That means we're no longer a top 100 market. That means Vegas and Tennessee, or the Tri-Cities, have gone completely opposite directions. We're almost not in the upper half of all the TV markets. We're about ready to be really small. And I could tell you that both Nevada and Tennessee don't have income taxes. But it should be noted this, when you want to talk about taxes, I checked this out. Nevada is one of the priciest states in the country for a gallon of gas. It's got one of the highest gas taxes of any of the states. Tennessee has one of the lowest. Why do you think I call Elizabeth then? The town of cheap gas. So why is Vegas growing but the Tri-Cities isn't? And the answer to me is obvious. Which area is more cosmopolitan? Now, there's no need to place slot machines everywhere, but it would kind of be nice if Night on the Town of the Tri-Cities didn't just mean church on Wednesday. Where are the places really to dance? Think about this. Now, I'm not a dancer. I never really liked, but in Bristol. Bristol doesn't even have a decent sports bar. Well, they got Quaker Steak. Forgive me that. Now, that's free advertising. Okay, but that's more, they'll have the game on, but they have the bands on there. Place to go watch the game. You can say, hey, look, we are getting more cosmopolitan. What about that Performing Arts Center at ETSU? What about the Niswonger Performing Arts Center? But the latter is an 800-seat venue. You're not getting, the Rolling Stones to come to the Niswonger Performing Arts Center. You're not getting really cosmopolitan bands. That's the deal. And if you want to grow this area, you got to start thinking more cosmopolitan in my estimation. Having things you want to do. Now, it helps if you discover oil and, some part, but then again, plenty of Texas oil towns that aren't all that big. And it's, we've got the cheap labor, we could double the population of the wide open spaces we have over here. Nobody would know it. But what's there to do? And I want to hold on to this because, and I'm going to break here in just a second, but it's sports, I think, are what makes an area so many times cosmopolitan. I know that Art Rooney, Sr., who owned the Pittsburgh Steelers, he once said, when a city loses a ball club, it loses something. Well, obviously, but it lost so much of its identity. You think about, and I think it's great that we've gotten them back, but think about the things that we did lose. ETSU football, Kingsport racetrack, POTB in Weber City, we've lost a few things here.